And here we are, back, Volume 2, out of the chicken house, out into the real world at Collinsville, Illinois, at the Gindler Barn Rehab, Reconstruction, Rehabilitation, and Revitalization Project. And we're talking to one of the 4 apprentices that we're fortunate enough to have on this job. His name's Marvion, and he's going to tell you a couple of things about where he came from and how he got to be here. And then we're going to ask him trick questions about guild culture. Go!
Well, yeah, like you said, I'm Marvion Criddle. I'm from Washington, D.C., by way of Raleigh, North Carolina. It's an interesting story how I got interested in timber framing, but long story short, I wanted to get into carpentry, and I wasn't happy, to each his own, but I wasn't happy with the conventional framing companies that I worked for, or attempted to work for. And I always sort of leaned towards the traditional way, and I really liked that. I wound up at Goshen Timber Frames in Western North Carolina and loved it. Spent about 4 months down there. After that, applied for Heartwood, and here I am,
So what do you think? Now, you've been in the apprenticeship program for weeks and weeks and weeks and kind of sticking pretty close to Heartwood. Now suddenly they shove you in a car and take you halfway across the country and drop you into this madhouse. What do you think this part of the guild is all about?
What do I think it's about?
Yeah.
Well, from what I can tell, it's you guys are doing an excellent job.
Oh, stop.
An excellent job.
Oh, stop.
I'll say it. Try to be modest.
You just have to cut that right out.
You guys are doing an excellent job teaching people. I can tell volunteers, there's some who don't really know what they're doing. Have not had any prior experience, and they come in and, they're led by experienced people, and everyone's learning and having a good time. And I think that's an important asset to prolong it, to continue in the trade, keeping it going, and so this isn't part of your question, but, I'm learning so much this week, and it couldn't be in a better environment. And it's probably 50% completely new information and 50% putting things that I already know into practice.
Cool.
So.
You got some challenges here. They didn't give you the easy part.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Skanky old.
But it gets easier at each piece,
So what are you doing?
Well, we're using the original purlin plates that were in the old barn, and just so happens that the barn shrunk. It was 85 foot long, now 74 and a half. They say that happens with old age. That may happen, you may shrink. Yeah, and so since we do have 6 for the playroom, we want to get the scarves as close as possible, and we're kind of changing the location of the mortises. But yeah, the most tricky part is, I would say, is getting this old dried oak to do what you want it to do.
Amen to that. If you got any questions that we can answer for you about how the guild functions or culturally is integrated into the broader world, or what time dinner is, or whatever's on your mind.
Let's see. I didn't practice.
That's the point.
What's a good question?
You don't have to have one. You could
No, that's my question.
All of my questions have been answered.
What is a good question? No, I would say all my questions are being answered.
Cool.
Definitely.
Hard to imagine.
Yeah.
Hard to imagine that we're as good as you think. Thanks very much.
You guys are almost there.
Almost.
I have to give it to you.
Thanks, brother.
Yep. Thank you.